Welcome to Beards, Beers, and Barbecue. This week, we're making an orange smoked chicken with a Sriracha honey glaze, and I'm drinking Stone IPA.
I know when I've been beat, yeah, I'm coming home.
Okay, so this week, what you're going to need is meat tenderizer, some boneless, skinless chicken breasts, your favorite rub, Beards, Beers, and Barbecue rub, a cup of salt, cup of brown sugar, an empty cup. We're going to keep a quarter cup of the orange juice that you're going to need because you're going to need a half gallon of orange juice. We're going to keep a quarter cup of that for the glaze for tomorrow for the Sriracha and honey. We're going to mix that all together, and then a half gallon of water. So what we'll do first is we're going to pound out the chicken to about 3/8 to a half inch thick. Just get these flattened out a little bit. Make it a little easier when we smoke them. Don't have to go crazy on them. And then make sure you've got some saran wrap down, obviously. You want to make a mess on the counter. I like to keep mine pretty close to a half inch. It keeps them a little juicier. Okay, so once you've got those pounded out a little bit, go ahead and get yourself about a quarter of a cup of orange juice. What we'll do is we'll put some saran wrap on top of that, and we're going to mix that in with our glaze tomorrow. Pour the rest of the orange juice into the water. Add your salt, your brown sugar, and then about a tablespoon and a half of your rub. Give that a good mix. The orange juice is going to help break down the chicken. It's going to make it more tender. Once you got that stirred up nice, pull the saran wrap back off the chicken. Just add it to your brine. We've brined quite a few times on the show, so you should know, what we're doing here. We're breaking down the chicken and adding a lot of salt, and then makes it more tender and just makes a delicious meal. So now that you've got everything in the brine, the orange juice in the water, the salt, the sugar, brown sugar, and your rub, obviously, go ahead and throw a lid on it. Put it in the fridge. We'll take it out tomorrow, and we'll get it smoking.
By the light of the moon, I'm coming home. Howling all the way, I'm coming home.
Welcome back to Beards, Beers, and Barbecue. What we've done this morning is taken the chicken out of the brine, rinsed it off, and now we're going to make our glaze. Get the orange juice that you divided out from the brine last night, some honey, sriracha, and your rub, obviously. Drinking Stone IPA still, of course. And you'll need a brush to brush the chicken and a spoon to stir everything up. So what we'll do is, this is all preference here. I do a couple tablespoons of the sriracha. And a couple tablespoons of honey. You just need to determine how spicy you want your glaze. And then just add a little bit of the orange juice. And mix it up. This looks pretty good. All I can do is taste it just to make sure it's not too spicy. My wife and stepson don't like it too spicy. That's about perfect. Maybe add a little more honey. Like I said, it's preference, so mix it up any way you want. Once you have that mixed up, your brush, give it a light coating. I'm going to flip them and coat both sides. And once we have them coated, I'm going to put a little rub on them. Not a whole lot, just a dusting. We'll flip them over, coat the other side. Okay. Once you got them coated and dusted with the rub, wash up, get the grill going, get the grill up to about 235, 250, and we'll get them smoking.
On my hands and knees, I'm coming home. I know when I've been beat, yeah, I'm coming home.
Welcome back to Beards, Beers, and Barbecue. This week, we got Justin Sibley here. Justin brought us a brew from Brew Brothers. Dude, Brew Brothers is a local brewery. They've been around for a long time. And this is their mango pale ale, and they've got it on tap right now. It's really, really good. Justin's with Rockstar Aquariums. He's a local small business, and that's what, Beards, Beers, and Barbecue is all about. Local small business, local breweries, and getting the word out about small businesses in town. So, Justin, tell me, I know you're doing, you do aquarium moves, you do aquarium setups, you order fish. Tell me a little bit about your business.
Yeah, essentially I do custom tank installs, maintenance, and setups and moves, as you said. I've got a good list of regular clients that I do regular maintenance on, and I do specialty things. So if there's a business in town that might have an aquarium that has their own, for example, a larger aquarium like a casino, or a larger business that might have something that they have an in-house team that works on, I might consult them. Pretty much anything involved with an aquarium I deal with. That's
rad. So how did you get into doing aquariums? How did you get into fish and that type of thing?
First job was working at a Petco, and then from there moved into a independent fish store, and started getting a lot of complaints after a while about some people's maintenance guys, and so decided to give out my number, and then after a while just built my business upon that.
That's awesome. So I know you do, we were talking earlier and you were telling me that you do special orders on like some rare fish and some exotic fish. What's the most exotic fish you've ever had to order?
I guess that's kind of hard to pinpoint per se, but as we were talking about earlier, I had some clients that used to dive back in the day, and they would dive in the Red Sea in particular, and they wanted some specific fish that were only in that region. So I would get things like purple tangs, semi-Levaris butterflies, stuff like that are considered a little bit more coveted in the fish industry, to put in their tank to remind them of where they dove when they were younger, and they didn't go. They were a retired couple at that point, so they didn't do it anymore. So kind of bring them back to that whole thing. So I mean, especially the semi-Levaris would be considered kind of rare, but either way, just kind of unique fish for situations.
So how does that work? If you order a specialty fish, I mean, how does it get to you? I mean, obviously it's not going to come in a plastic bag like a goldfish, right?
Technically, it kind of does.
Okay.
We have a variety of different wholesalers that are mostly based off of port towns, primarily Florida, LA, a little bit in San Francisco. So I'll call it my wholesaler. I get a list every week, but if I'm looking for something specific, I might have to call them up and make a special request. What's interesting, speaking of the Red Sea thing, is they have specific times when it's able to pull fish out of the water, depending on what's going on there. So it might be something that's available at certain times of year and not others, depending on whether the local divers can pull it out of the water there.
Nice. Okay, then.
But yeah, it'll show up in a plastic bag in a styrofoam box. They overnight it to me, so yeah, it does show up in a plastic bag.
You wouldn't think. I mean, you get these exotic fish that they're going to show up on your doorstep. Not to mention in a plastic bag, but they're going to mail it to you. They're mailing you fish, a live fish. It's crazy. That's awesome. You were talking about some coral stuff. I mean, how does that work? How does that come? Where do you get that from?
Similar process through the same wholesalers. I'll pick up live corals. But what I like to specialize in with any of my tanks is a live reef tank if it's a saltwater tank, or if it's a freshwater tank, a live plant tank. Just trying to make an ecosystem in there that will kind of sustain its own life if maintained properly. I try to avoid the cliche plastic, decorations, plastic plants, battleships, and all that. And it's kind of neat and all, but that stuff was done in the 80s and 90s, and I try to make a living piece of art in your house. Is more my goal for, I guess, fish tanks.
That's right. So you're taking aquarium and fish tanks to a different level where you're not just doing, here's your betta fish and your shipwreck in the bottom of your tank with some gravel, some purple gravel.
Right.
You're an artist. You're making something that when somebody walks up, they go, "Wow, that's impressive. That's a nice piece of, that. Look at the fish in that. Look at the coral in that. Is that real coral? That type of thing. That's cool. Yeah. Because you're taking the art end of it and bringing it into your business of aquariums. Yep. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's great. So we're going to put up a link. Do you have a Facebook page for the business?
Technically, I do. If you just look up Rockstar Aquarium on Facebook, I'm sure I'd come up on there very easily.
And then we'll put up a link, obviously. Sure. And then website?
Website's rockstaraquarium.com.
Great. We're going to put up the link for the website. And then, if you're looking into getting an aquarium, or you have an aquarium and you're having trouble with service on it or anything like that, get a hold of Justin. You got a email address that they can get a hold of you? Or?
rockstaraquarium@gmail.com. And you can easily just call me, 775-530-1473.
Perfect. Get a hold of Justin if you got anything aquarium, if you want to upgrade, you need a service, you need anything at all, get a hold of Justin. He's going to get you taken care of. And then don't forget, Beards, Beers, and Barbecue. Give us a share, give us a like, and then don't forget to hit subscribe on YouTube. And thanks for watching. We'll see you here in a week.
Cheers.
By the scale of my teeth, I'm coming home. By the sole of my feet, I'm coming.
Justin Sibley here. Justin, thanks for coming by. He brought two beers from Brew Brothers. This is their this is the Tiramisu
Tiramisu Stout.
Tiramisu Stout. So we're gonna enjoy that with our smoked chicken, orange smoked chicken with the Sriracha honey glaze. We got some beans, some homemade cream corn, and let's get after it, brother. Thanks for coming, man. Appreciate you bringing the beer.
Thank you.
That's good. That's real good.
It's not terrible.
No.
By the soul of my feet.